Hey guys, it's Spence. I'm here to give you a quick tutorial on how to use some of the features of the new TrikePilot social website. Let's start from the beginning. When you are not logged in, you will basically see a sneak peek of the latest activity for a certain period of time, maybe 5 to 10 entries. I'm still playing with this, as well as the fact that we're going to be introducing a really nice, beautiful blog, or call it a magazine, that's focused on a lot of the latest tips and tricks and techniques for things like digital photography, videography, maintenance, weather, all the kind of stuff that we used to do when I started out TrikePilot. But man, oh man, has the technology changed. So there should be a lot of value-packed stuff on the front page, and there'll also be some sponsorship stuff that'll indicate things that you'd be interested in if you're just getting started. Now, once you log in, you'll be able to go to any of the things on the inside. So let's, for example, click on over here and go on inside. And once you do, you'll see that the personal profile shows up on the left. So first of all, there is a little tab here, and this will be slightly different on mobile. Mobile won't have this, you don't need it. On desktop, you have the option to open and close what we call the buddy panel here. And there's really the same thing. So if you want to save space, you can just leave it in a sort of tucked away position. In any event, let's start with the idea. On the left side, this is for your own personal activities, and these are shortcuts that help you get to where you want to go really quickly. Whereas the top bar is for your general public locations, and again, soon there will be also one in there for blog. Let's start out with the account maintenance and such. You can always reach all of your subscription information as well as any of the things that you have to download or that may be relevant over in your My Account. This is for business. So you've got here your dashboard, no notices here, your orders, what membership you have and the subscription length and so forth. If there are any downloads available for you, and that might be something we'll do in the future as part of your membership, those will be available in here. Addresses you probably don't need. This tab will probably disappear because we're not going to be mailing anything to you, more likely than not. And then your payment information and other details. So this is all the business of the site. You probably don't need to access this except when you first sign up and maybe upon renewal or something into the future. So a long way out. Next is on the other side, you've got your social settings. And now those are for setting up how your particular social profile interacts on the site. And these are things that are relevant to your own privacy and display. So for example, here you can change your account email and your password. And you'll notice, by the way, there's an underline. So right now we're in the settings area. If I want, I can also change my email preferences. Right now, we don't bother you with these activity notices. I've actually disabled these from the email. You'll only receive notifications inside the site. You'll see it here or here if somebody's trying to reach you or mentioned you or whatever. So these right now are turned off because I don't think most people want to get emails every time they're notified. It's more like, let me go to the site, check in. Your profile visibility is important because here you can set up some things about yourself. And we've got a couple of the fields that you can add your information to, and I encourage you to do so. This is where you set whether everybody can see it. So for example, your name everyone's going to see, but you get to choose what name to display, right? It could be your nickname or your whole name or whatever. But on things like where your home airport is or whether you have a trike make and model, you can choose to show it to everyone, only yourself, or only to members. And the difference would be what shows up on that home page would be everyone. What shows up only in the site when you're logged in is members, and for only you, it's only you. We'll use this for purposes of maybe sending you some information down the road that's relevant to maybe your location or what kind of trike you fly. Likewise, if you're a vendor and you are here, you can also put in your company name for now. We might have some other fields later. Finally, you can change your username. That's useful for what I just mentioned because at the top of your cover photo right here, you have, let's say, @Spence. Yours will be whatever yours is. You can change it to whatever you want. So if I change it to, woohoo, and click save, now my displayed username will be @woohoo. Pretty simple, right? So put something in there that's useful, and you can change it as much as you want, but I would say keep it something that you want to stick with for a while because after it's been archived for a bit, people will be looking for you with that username. Now let's, while we're here, talk about your profile photo. We've given you the ability to go from your default situation to adding your own profile image and cover photo. And here it's really cool because you can click here and it says get a random cover photo, but that's, that's going to give you something like this. I think for most of it, you'll probably want to just click on update cover photo, and what you'll do is go add something that's good for you. So scroll down And then what you can do is grab an image from your desktop or that you download from anywhere, or you can select something that you've previously put on to your desktop as well, I guess. You can either drag it or not. So for example, I could just take an image and I could just drag it there and it will update, or I can actually select the file from my computer, which is another way to go, whichever is easiest. Now, if you don't like what you did, just click here, remove the cover photo, and go back to the default. Same thing for your profile image. So you can click on your profile image and you can change your profile photo. So this is where your little circular image, you probably want to use something that's close to the size that you have here. So maybe like 300 by 300, but it will scale it for the most part. There's a cool feature here as well. I haven't tried this, but I have my web camera. You could click here, and if you have a web camera, hello, you can use that to take a live picture. I think for most of you, probably put a photo of you in your trike or something is probably good. If you don't like what you have, you can also delete it. And same as before, you can either drag it on top or just click to select it from your desktop. So those are the kind of public side of things. Now, there's some other things that you can do inside of the settings that we'll get to in another part, but let's talk about some of the main functions. So in the top bar, the latest activity, this is basically everything that happens on the website. I think this is where everybody's going to start their day and end their day, and it has the ability for you to immediately post anything you want. Now, what's neat is that you can post any link to any YouTube or Vimeo video or any other publicly hosted video, and it will almost always embed automatically. So for example, if I go to youtube.com and I just pick any old video, it doesn't make a difference. Let's take a cool, this is a aviation related sort of thing. I just post it in here and I could say, wow, what a landing. What's going to happen is I can decide who gets to see it, everyone, logged in users, or me, and then I can post an update. If I wanted, I just like to make sure I'm on a good line, I can also go ahead and drop an image on here or select an image. So I can combine text, video, and image, and it'll all come together. Same thing with the image, I can decide who sees this. One of the things to let you know, which is cool, is when you drop a file in here, it not only gets posted to your latest activity, but it'll also be an image that's saved to your particular gallery, which could be useful. So in this case, I'm not going to bother with it, but just to know you can do it. If I post an update, it gets added to the activity wall. And you can see here, wow, what a landing. Now, if anybody wants to comment on it, they can just click here and add a comment. And they can do the same thing. They can add their own video, their own photo, their own comments, their own links, whatever they want to do. It's super easy. You can also like something, and that's a great way to go ahead and find it later because this will be the most liked stuff, or you can find your own likes. You can delete it if you were the author. You can lock it for privacy, and you can go back and edit it again. If you don't like what's there, you have a chance to save it for a reasonable period of time. Now, this is direct to the activity wall. If I wanted to see other things that were specific, I can use these filters. So for example, if I want to see from all members, I make sure this is highlighted. And it is. You see it's in yellow. If I want to only see the stuff I've liked, like I just like that, I filter by my likes. If I want to see if anybody has mentioned me by using @Spence, I go here. Now, what is a mention? If somebody says, @Spence, I'm mentioning you, right? If somebody else or even myself posts that, what happens is that @Spence gets counted as a mention. And then when I renew the page, or if I come here later, it'll eventually show, oh, there's somebody mentioned me. And you'll also see that now there's a notice that says, oh, somebody's interested in me, they mentioned me. This is really great for conversations where, let's say you have a bunch of people that you want to show something to that, hey, Larry, check out this new, blah, blah, blah thing that I added to my trike. Okay, you can use Larry's name or Bob's name or Sue's name or whomever, and it will give them attention, let them know that you want to get them and show them something. And then the RSS feed, this is kind of cool. If you have a feed reader on your computer or your iPad or something else, you could just use this and you can read this stuff really easily using none of the distractions of the normal HTML web page. Now, the last filter here is this dropdown. You can filter out the content in the activity stream by everything, just updates, just posts, which is like blog posts, just comments, just new members, just topics, and just replies. Now, I haven't covered this, but topics and replies, those are things from our forums. So let's jump on over to those. The forums are something that we carried over from the old TrikePilot Social, and right now we have 4 main topic areas: news from us, chit chat, help, and marketplace. We've just started getting this going again. We used to have thousands and thousands of posts. This is a really great place for you to use the kind of traditional static way of holding a conversation. There's absolutely nothing that prevents you from starting a conversation here and having it end up in the latest activity stream anyway. So if I wanted to, I could just go into, let's say, chit chat, do the same thing I just did, right? I could say, check out this landing. Give it a good title so you can find it. Now you've got some nice editing tools, but you could just paste normally and say, wow, great low one, something. And then put a good tag on it, beach landing. Topic type, it's either normal, sticky, or super sticky. I think for most everybody, you're only going to have normal. I think I can only see the sticky and super sticky because I'm an admin. You don't have to worry about that. And then the topic, this is just open. But if in the future you're the author, I think you'll have a limited amount of time to maybe close it as well. For the most part, these I think are only available to me because I'm the admin demonstrating. And then if you want, you can have somebody notify you via email, but I think I've disabled those. If I haven't, we'll see. But for the most part, I didn't want to bother people with too much email. When you click submit, it will do 2 things. It'll add the topic into the forums, so it's there for everybody to view and do what they want and respond to it and reply. But you'll notice that it also shows up back on the activity stream, which is really super cool. So we got the one I posted direct to the wall. We've got the forum. So for many of you, you might want to just start out by using the forum. I want to point out also that for those of you worried about the newcomers who aren't going to see enough stuff, well, guess what? They're going to see it just fine because this is going to be on the front. The main difference is that if somebody's not logged in as a member, they can just look and read. They really, can't participate. Now, if you don't want your stuff to show up on the activity stream or in the front, just choose the privacy level that works, right? Choose members only or choose just you, and then mention it to somebody and they can go see it on your private wall. So let's talk about this for a second. If we go back over to the inside, we're going to go over here and look at our buddy wall. Now let's use that as another filter. Notice it says my activity, my profile. If I want to see just the stuff that I'm doing, I can click on my activity and it's going to take me away from the main activity stream over to my own wall. And here on my wall, it's everything that I've done or people that have responded or replied to me. Likewise, I could see just my forum topics. So if I click here, I can see just the topics that I have started. This is a great shortcut so you don't have to go searching around for, what was I working on? Let's move on to the next one, which is photos. So here's the global photos. Now, photos work inside the forums, inside activity, almost everywhere. But now we've got a really super cool drag and drop powerful capability to make albums or single posts and to show them everywhere. So if I wanted to start out, let me grab, let's say, some stuff from my desktop. I don't have any super duper trike flying photos, but I do have a couple photos I'm going to just use here as a demo. So let me grab a folder that has a couple pictures of some sample customers or something. Let's see. Probably should have had that ready to go, but let's go. Well, here we go. I got a couple sample pictures. So these are kind of big, but I'm going to drag. I can do up to 6 pictures at a time in one album. Now, if you want to do more, you can do more, but I don't recommend it because we've set a limit on it to 6 for now at a time. It doesn't mean you can't do more, but you just can only do 6 at a time on the drag and drop. Also, I dragged some super huge ones, so that was probably a bad choice because these are like native size. Let me just actually reduce the size a little bit there. Okay. So try to have these not necessarily coming right out of your camera. Try to have these web ready. In other words, these should be pictures that are not more than maybe 1280 by 720 or 1920 by 1080. Don't have like 6 megabyte pictures. I recommend when you drag your pictures up or you select them from your desktop that you say, this is my blah blah album description. Put some details in here so that you'll know what it is and people will know what it is. And then again, you have your privacy. Is it for me, logged in users, or everyone on the site? and then you post them. When you post them, what it's going to do is it's going to create a grouping that's really very attractive and easy to see. So these are the individuals. Now, what if you wanted to do an album? Well, you could start out by calling it an album. So for example, here, I've got, let's say, My Flying Albums. This is a group of things that I put together, and I've specifically given it a title, so I know how to find all of it. And if I want to edit it, I can do just kind of like what I did here. I can call it what it is, give it a description, and then add some more photos to it and stuff. Whatever way you do it, I recommend that you just play around and see what works. So the nice thing too is that when you go on over to the latest activity, if you have not selected to keep them only to yourself or, another way private, you'll see that it puts them into a nice little setup here, right? This is something that if I click on any of the pictures, automatically gives me a nice slideshow. And I can go through any of the pictures, as well as I can, like them, I can comment on them, or I can put them in the trash. I know I'm going super fast, and forgive me for that, but I feel like I got a lot to cover. Now, once I've participated in the photos, if I ever want to go back to my photos, same idea. I can just go direct to this, and this takes me to only the stuff that I've contributed, and that way I can filter it out from the rest of the site's content. Real simple. All right. If I ever want to see the albums I created, I can always just click from here and create a new album, just like we talked about. Start from scratch, right? All right, let's go and close this, and we'll talk about my profile. Well, we're kind of on my profile anyway. If you click to the My Profile, it'll take you to this location here, where you've got the details, and you can change the details of your name, airport identifier, and so forth. I think we kind of covered that originally, but you just click Edit from My Profile, and here's where you can add your questions, add your answers to the questions. And if you're a vendor, click this tab, and there's one more question that shows up, which is, company name. Not necessary for the regular pilots to do that. And then finally, I think the last thing to show you is just a search. So there's a really great global search. And for that, you can type anything you want. So let's say I type in P&M, like P&M Quick. It'll tell me dynamically nothing's there, or let's search for something more common that probably is on the site, like flying. If I wait, it'll add the suggestions. If I don't wait and I just hit enter, it will do a search, and it'll show me across the entire site what's here that has that search term in it, the flying. So I've got a blog post, I've got the author of the blog post, I've got some pages that mention it, and I could go and click on any of these to see what's up. Now, if you are a non-member or not subscribed inside, you'll still be able to use the search capability. So this works just fine, even if you're logged out. But when you click to go to the content, if you're not logged in, it'll just tell you, please, become a member and log in. So it gives somebody an idea of what's inside, and they'll be able to see if there's something that's interesting to them, even without being a member. We've got some things that are widgets on the side, which shows maybe who's online right now, and then who's been here before. And if everybody uploads their avatar, we'll obviously be able to see who's already been on here today. And this could be fun too if there's an active topic, or if you're just curious to see, was Henry around here earlier today? You could click and see what that person particularly was doing, and so forth. Now, there is an option to have internal network communications with messaging and all that stuff, but I'm leaving that off for the moment because it didn't really have a lot of popularity on the old TrikePilot, and I think everybody just prefers to leave messages or post forums and so forth. So we'll see how this goes. Now, last but not least, we haven't done anything with this yet, but I want to tell you that we're going to be putting out a really, really high-end magazine that's going to have that content that I think we did originally. And the format of this, don't even pay attention. This has not been formatted at all. But this is going to be really beautiful. It's going to have high-quality photos, high-quality videos, stuff that's special, and this will be public. So you won't have to be logged into the site to see this. It'll be a good place to attract the attention of interested students, other pilots, people who maybe feel like they're not here enough to bother with subscribing, but they still want to see some cool stuff that you can't get anywhere else. So I hope to make this a real feature, and I've got a couple authors that are already lined up, in addition to myself, to kind of put that energy in that direction. All right, last but not least, The shopping cart you kind of know about because that's what you would use the one time when you check out. Notifications is a quick way, in addition to over here, to see what's up. And by the way, this is useful, for example, if you're in mobile, let's say you're on your iPhone. That's a good way, you can see that little button, and it shows a little differently actually in real life, but for some reason this doesn't simulate it well on my desktop. When you're actually really in mobile mode, not just on this simulation, this little thing is very handy because you get a very clean view of what's the latest activity, and yet you can just use your thumb to scroll down. Last but not least is your profile. You'll have a slightly different set of options because I'm the admin, but you can also use this to get right to all your various things: notifications, forums, photos, settings. So lots of ways to do it, whatever suits your fancy. And if you leave this buddy wall closed, which I usually do, you get a lot more space and you kind of still know what's there by the icons. So hopefully this will get you set up and start to use the site. I'm really excited that we had a good response to the initial notice really late last night. We had about a dozen people jump on it right away, and I expect that we're going to get more of you coming in the next few days. The content will be contributing, people will start participating, and soon enough, look what I pulled out of the Wayback Machine archives. Soon enough, we'll have something going just like in 2000 when I started this. It started with one person, then it was 5 people, then it was 12 people, then it was 25 people, then it was 100 people, then it was 200 people, and then it just grew. So the more you guys get on, the more we use it, the nicer things get, the more content, and I'm going to try to bolster it to really add that value we talked about in my video, which is all the things I could not do here because I was limited can now be done here, but that's only going to happen if you guys have a little faith and a little patience and just say, you know what, I'm going to participate. It's maybe a couple gallons of gas, but I get the whole year of participation and I can be part of something really cool. That's what I'm hoping it'll be. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.